Yes, we're
We
live,
are
ladies and gentlemen.
live.
We are
Hello,
live.
everybody.
Welcome
How
to
are
Rick
y'all
and
doing
Jeff
today?
Unfiltered Show. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ready. I pledge
I
allegiance
pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Justice for all. Oh, I just thought of something else.
All
Thought
right.
of something else we can talk about. So,
All
are you ready?
right, people.
Yes. No, we forgot the rest of the
Are you ready? Well, welcome. All the guys that are called Rick and Jeff.
Unfiltered. Woohoo! Rick and Jeff Unfiltered. That's what we're doing. Yep. Rick and Jeff Unfiltered. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Hello there. Are you ready to rock? Are you ready?
Are you ready to rock? Just put my phone on in case somebody joins the. Hey, Kathy Bennett is on there.
Hey, hello, Kathy.
Kathy Bennett is watching
Yeah.
with me. She says she's watching with me. She's not in the same room, but she's in the same house. So there you go.
All right.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
we posted something on Truth Social today or yesterday. When did we do it, Jeff? I don't remember. You did it. I was just
Today I
today we
posted
did
our. I almost posted Mom's best 2-egg cake.
I thought that's what you were gonna do. Is Mom's best 2-egg cake? I thought that's what you're gonna post.
No,
on there.
I like
That.
that.
Cool.
If anyone out there is listening, we do have a website. It is rickandjeffunfiltered.com, and it is live. And there's some short videos on there. And there's our latest video was up there for the Easter celebration that we did a week or two ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. I'm not paying attention. But there's pretty cool stuff up there, and you can either watch it there on our site, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Rick and Jeff Unfiltered YouTube. But yeah, we'd love to have you come watch, join our show. My wife says hello, so there.
Hello.
But yeah, so we have some old stuff. Some of it's fun, some of it's funny, But
we find ourselves very humorous, by the way.
Yes, we do. Which is the only reason we do this show. I was telling a customer about this the other day. I'm like, yeah, we got a podcast. She's like, oh, well, how many followers you got? I go, about 3, including
6.
my brother and myself.
Sometimes we have 6 or 8, but
Exactly. So
one time we had 11, but yeah.
But we have fun. And I played her the question where I said, what was, when you said, what my favorite part of living at the cottage was? I'm like, no, what was it? And then you gave the
Mom's
2-egg cake. So I played that for her. She kind of smiled, so I don't know. She's humoring me, I think. So
yeah.
But anyway,
it was a good time.
We have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been 100 days since we've had a new president, and a lot of stuff going on. Like it or don't like it, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
What's
your favorite saying there?
At least it's different.
Exactly.
At least it's different. I mean, we're $37 trillion in debt. We've lost probably 80% of all our factory jobs since 1970, and you just can't expect it to change without doing something different. And this is different,
right?
And I see stuff that's happening, and I'm just sitting back and waiting. It's a long-term solution. It's not gonna be pretty here in the beginning, and it's not pretty. Right. I can't deny that, but I also understand it's long term. I also did notice the stock market was starting to come up. I don't know if it's still up, but I know yesterday it was up over 40,000 again. And
you should say that. I just brought it up. I was thinking about the same thing. We're like minds, think the same.
And where's it at today?
Dow Jones, 41,223.
There you go.
S&P features 5,678, and
very
NASDAQ
good.
Is 20.
Mark Martinez says, "What's up, boys?"
Hey,
hello,
Mark Martinez. How you doing?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
You want to come online with us there, Mark, and say hello and start the show with us?
And I'm sorry, I coughing. I got a little cold going on. Maybe COVID. I don't know.
Got COVID, yeah. Because we don't have any other.
It's in my throat. It feels like it actually does feel like COVID. The other 3 times that I had it, but who knows? But anyways, let's Go ahead, Jeff. What?
My wife says that I'm a legend in our own. We're a legend in our own minds.
Yeah, you got that right. You got that right, buddy. Yeah. So,
right.
so this is what you hear from Trump haters, and I hear it from. I've heard it from a few people actually. Stock market's down. He's bankrupting the country. Stock market's up. All his friends are getting rich.
Right.
That's Trump derangement syndrome at its best, right there. No matter what happens, they're going to say something bad about him. And when the people are talking like that, I kind of ignore most everything they say after that because. And I told this one guy, I said, "You've got Trump derangement syndrome." I've told more than one person this, and what do you mean? I said, "Well, I'll bet you can't name one good thing Trump has done," and they couldn't. That's Trump derangement syndrome. If you just can't think of one good thing he's done, you're just not paying attention. So,
I'm about to send Mark Martinez a link
well,
to join our.
There you go. It automatically came on, Mark, by itself when you said you missed the Chief Trick opening. I got to unplug my phone. I put it on pause, and it just starts up by itself. So it must have saw that your message came up and just started playing there.
Yeah,
so
got to play that song for Mark Martinez. Hey, Mark, I sent you an email to your Market Crop Ministries, so should give you a link to join our show.
Oh, there you go.
You can
Happy
come,
to have Mark
come
on.
join the show if you want.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about what we want to talk about today, and there's a lot of interesting things to talk about out there. The first 100 days, like my brother started talking about. One of the things that the Democrats want to talk about for, I don't know, the last 3 weeks, I want to talk about this MS-13 gang member that they exported to, El Salvador. It's like, at first he was the man from Maryland. I'm like, what
the father and husband from Maryland. Well, then look at this guy's a bad guy.
Right.
And we've been saying this all along. Jeff and I said this all along. Two things can be true at one time. He can be a father and a husband and a MS-13 gang member. I'm sure there are many of them.
He's also a wife beater. His wife has called the cops on him several times for several different reasons of him hitting and kicking her and ripping her clothes off and stuff. So,
and the Democrats go down there and coddle this guy. So
it's kind of amazing to me because it's almost like keep talking because Republicans are just going to get more and more power. And hopefully they don't screw it up. I mean, I don't mind having more and more power as long as they don't make it a one-party state like the state of California, where they just do whatever the hell they want.
Well, and that's
I don't think we need to do whatever we want. I think there's things that we need to do, but we also need to have an opposing party that we can talk to. Not that you're just going to say we're violating the Constitution and some stuff.
I think the way it is right now, the two-party system is really terrible because right now, the loudest voices are way left or way right. There's nothing in the middle that is really really resonating, and it's us against them, and both sides are doing it. My son said to me the other day while I was driving him to work because I was up in New York. He said that I said I don't know why they don't just bring that MS-13 gang member back into the United States, hold him in custody, and do it the way it's supposed to be done. Send him out. They admitted they made a mistake. Not that he shouldn't be there, but they made a mistake on how they got him there. Well, bring him back. And I said, I don't know why they're drawing a line here. And my son goes, well, I do. And I go, why? And he said, I don't want to tell you. I go, tell me. He says, well, the Republicans like to divide us. I said,
it's the Republicans that want to divide us.
Oh,
yes.
hang on.
You're right.
So I said that.
Oh, here we go. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Mark is on. Put him in. There he is.
On the stage.
Presto.
Brother. Hello, Mark Martinez. Welcome.
Hey, guys.
We're just talking about what we're talking about. Why they don't just bring this guy back from Venezuela or wherever he's El Salvador. Deport him again. Correct me, I guess.
And my son told me that it's because the Republicans like to divide us, keep us divided. And I said, both sides are doing it. I said, Democrats do it too. And he kind of shied off. And I said, just look it up. Democrats, everything is racial, no matter what. They said having a gym membership was racial. It's crazy. It's crazy. And both sides want us fighting against each other so we can't see what they're doing.
Right.
And so I started off the point by the two-party system sucks the way it is right now. I think we need a third party. And I don't don't ever want to see one party rule, because eventually, doesn't matter who you are. If you have total control, you're gonna slip down the slippery slope and make decisions that are just good for you, and that's it. So that's my opinion. Yeah. So, but it's good that the Republicans have control right now, because they can cancel some of the crap that the Democrats have done while they had control. And the problem is, if this is the way it goes, it could go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's just crazy.
Well, they're going to try to do it as soon as if they ever get power. But if they keep going the way they're going right now, I'm just happy for them. I'm like, hey, keep talking. It
might be a while.
Stuff you're doing, because you're just not going to get elected again.
It might be a while.
What's your thoughts on it there, Mr. Martinez?
Well, I've always felt that on every election, you typically have 42 to 45% that will vote whoever has an R next to their name, and another 42 to 45% that will vote on whoever has a D next to their name. So really, the elections are won or lost based on that 10 to 15% swing differential, and persuading them. That's really where the elections are won or lost. And in this last election, we saw there was such a vast difference between the two different parties that Trump was able to collect more than that 10 to 15% swing, which is why there was such a large margin of victory. And so I like how he continues to refer to himself as, we're neither the Republican, the Democrat Party, or the Libertarian. We're the party of common sense. Right. And if you keep messaging that way, because what is not common sense about all the principles and platforms that he's been doing and executed? It's kind of funny because I had a friend of mine on Facebook who posted on Easter how Trump had said, "Hey, happy Easter," even to the radical lunatic Democrats, and she was so offended that he had posted that. Yeah. And I said, the solution is easy. Stop being a radical leftist Democrat.
Right.
That's really, really simple solution. So.
Yeah.
Well, that was like what he did when he went to the Guard unit up there in Minnesota. He was congratulating those guys, and he brought a Democratic governor up to say a few words. And as he did it, he said, "I probably shouldn't do this because she's a Democrat, but Governor Whitmer, come on up and
that's
most Republicans."
Minnesota.
Michigan.
Yeah.
So most Republicans wouldn't do that, and most Democrats wouldn't do it the other way either.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you look at his cabinet, it's like it's so diverse. His cabinet is so diverse. It's like, people want to focus on Pete Hegseth. They don't like Pete Hegseth. He's too young, too brash, too whatever they want to say. But it's like, he has RFK Jr. Yeah, we don't like RFK Jr. anymore because we don't think he's a Democrat. Is Tulsi Gabbard? Oh, she's not a Democrat either. She's turned Republican. It's like, look, he has qualified people in all the positions. It's not like he's unqualified and checking the box. Like, well, they're black, they're a woman, they're gay, and they're not born in America. So let's make her our press secretary. And we all know what that was about. But it's like, it's like, dude,
Q-tip.
It's
Oh,
did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
No, Rick, what you're supposed to say whenever you do something like that, the language is, did I think that out loud?
Oh my gosh.
No, great. You know what? And I say this, I don't like a lot of press secretaries. I mean, they have a tough job. No matter who they're there for.
I love our current press secretary.
They got to go up and spin it and spin it and spin it, whether it's right or wrong. They got to spin it the way they're told to spin it. But that woman, she just was terrible. She just was terrible at it. She had no answers, and it was crazy. And I like the new one. She's pretty intelligent. She seems
Carolyn
to know her
Leavitt.
stuff. Yeah,
she
Leavitt.
She
seems
that right?
to do a good job.
Is it Leavitt? Carolyn Leavitt?
Who, the current press secretary?
Yeah. Is it?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. I wasn't sure of her last name, but yeah. It's amazing when you have competent people in the job. Like when he did an open meeting the other day that he had with all his cabinet members, and they each went around and told what they're doing and what they've been up to. And I was like, you never saw that under Biden.
No,
like, Biden never ran a cabinet meeting.
Well, yeah. First of all, you only saw Biden about 10 times for the whole president.
Well, that's another story. But yeah. So
I should look it up. See how
We
many
saw
wa-
him 10 times in a cabinet meeting, or and 30 times on the beach suntanning
Yeah.
himself.
Oh, absolutely.
Ice cream.
Or eating ice cream.
Yeah.
How humiliating is that? I mean, think about it. If you were the president and they're like dragging you out on the beach so you can sleep all day and they're videoing it, it's like, wouldn't you at one point in time say, "Why am I doing this?" But if you don't know that you're
No.
doing it, you don't remember you're doing it. Like, hey, let's go to the beach. We haven't been there in a week. Well, you're just there yesterday. Yeah, but we go again today because I don't remember yesterday. You know, it's like it's just sad.
Well,
It
that's the
was
thing.
like-
I see this on people whining about their how much Trump is spending on the golf course and blah blah blah. I go, you know what? If you weren't complaining about what Biden was doing, you shouldn't be complaining about
You
in
got
this
nothing to
situation.
complain about.
You shouldn't be
Nothing.
complaining about this with Trump doing
Yeah.
because Biden was at least away from the White House as much as Trump is, and it wasn't cheap.
I'm
him
gonna
laying
guess
on the
more.
beach with all the security down at the beach. It wasn't cheap for that either. So
Right.
yeah,
You know,
It's-
putting
it's-
all
it's
his
crazy.
stolen documents in his garage next to his Mustang, Corvette or whatever
Yeah.
it was. You know,
Yeah.
so.
but yeah,
It's interesting
Yeah.
because I think of all the past presidents in my lifetime that I can remember, every one of them, once they got elected or when they were on the campaign trail, would make a statement along the lines of, I want to be the president for all Americans. I want to be the president that's the uniter, not the divider. We need to
Right.
heal. We need to bring our country together.
Mhm.
And they would do everything that was opposite of that statement.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Biden and Barack Hussein Obama did the same thing. You know,
Bush
I
did
wanna
it too.
Yeah. I can't really argue with that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just and when you look at what Trump is doing, he's not doing that. He's not saying, well, we're just for pro, this pro or that or pro that. You know, we're for all the white nationalists. You know, because
Well-
he's not a white nationalist by any way, shape, or form. You know.
And the thing about Trump is he told you on the campaign trail what he's going to do,
Yeah.
and he hasn't changed it.
Nope.
He's doing what he said he was going to do. Exactly.
Yeah.
He didn't come in and all of a sudden change his mind. You know, like I remember when Barack made his acceptance speech. I was going, "Wow, this guy could be the guy." You know, he's talking about bringing the country together and about.
Yeah.
I remember the one thing that I really remember is talking about black fathers got to take responsibility. And he went on. I'm like, holy cow, maybe this guy gets it, you know. And then he immediately just went off the rails and caused. He was the start of the people being against the police.
Yeah.
He didn't back the police in that St. Louis one where the don't shoot, which wasn't true. He didn't
Yeah,
back
but
him.
he did call the guy to the White House to have a beer with him. You know, so
Which guy was that?
one of those guys in that.
Yeah, it wasn't that guy because that guy's dead. So
Oh.
yeah.
No, you're thinking about the instance where the one white police officer, but there was a black professor at a university who was trying to get into his house after coming back from a trip, and he was really tired, but he didn't have any identification or anything else. He wasn't cooperating, so the police officer pulled him aside and tried to arrest him. He resisted. He didn't realize that was the guy's house, so they made a big deal over it. And then President Obama had said, "Oh, this guy the police officer acted stupidly."
Yeah.
And so that's where they decided to have a beer summit. And then there's that classic picture as they were leaving. I don't remember where it was, the White House or Rose Garden or whatever. And you see President Obama walking out ahead of the black professor and the white police officer. And in the background, the black police officer was being escorted. I'm sorry, the black professor was being escorted by the white police officer, helping him down the stairs because he was older. So the white officer is helping the black professor, helping him down the stairs while the president was already in his own world, marching up ahead with him.
Right.
You know, he's the most powerful man in the world. He can't be worrying about some guy who can't walk just because he's black, you know?
Yeah.
Well, this current president, though, you see him so many times behind the scenes, stopping and talking to people.
Oh,
and
yeah.
helping people out. I mean, who else does that? You know.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And
Nobody does that.
And here's the difference. And I've shared this with you, Jeff. This is the only president in our lifetime that we've ever known of that doesn't need money.
Right.
He already has it. Doesn't need a book deal. He's already got books. doesn't need to be popular. He's already has his television programs and is popular. Doesn't need friends. Doesn't need power. Doesn't need. He already has all that.
Right.
So
Right.
why else would you not only want to be the president, but be willing to do it for free? And the fact that your salary every year is given away.
I can tell you what the left people say. The reason he does it is because he wants to make sure his family makes money. And my answer to that is, well, why weren't you complaining about Biden and his family if you're worried about this now?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
At least
tens of millions of
at
dollars.
least the Trump family have a business. Biden's business was selling our country down the road. That's
No,
what
no,
his business.
wait a minute. He was selling art. He was a really fashionable art dealer until after Trump got elected, and then
Man, he can't sell any art
because he can't sell any art. It's like, well, why can't you sell your art now? You're such a fascinating artist.
Yeah.
You know.
And here's the thing that a lot of people that complain about rich people getting richer or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
who are the employers? Who are the people that hire people? Who are the ones that invest in technology? Who are the ones that buy inventory? Who are the ones that build infrastructure? It's not the poor people.
Right.
I've never known a single person that was offered a job by somebody who was poor.
Right.
It's the people that have the money. And what happens is that when you start taxing them, and you start taxing them to the point where it's a detriment to the business, they lay off the very people that are complaining about the things that rich people getting rich, so to speak.
Well, so here's what I think about that. I think I'm kind of left on this subject a little bit about how rich these people are getting. I don't think they need to be that rich. I don't think we should take it from them by taxing them. But what I do think is our policies have made them rich over the years by all the jobs going overseas. And you can pay someone $1 a week to make the same thing you're going to pay $15 an hour here to make. And my excuse me. And I always pick on Elon Musk because I know he's worth $286 billion. And it's not to pick on him. It's just I know how much he's worth.
Was that before or after he lost $113 billion from Tesla?
That was before.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, we should look it up, see what he's worth now. But anyways, I always say this. Let's just say we still had American business here, and there was deals like we got tariffs now. We're going to start charging people to bring stuff into this country. Let's just say we always had that. Now Elon Musk makes his company and he comes through, and let's just say he's only worth $115 billion instead of $285 billion.
$389.4 billion.
Oh, geez, I wasn't even close.
Nope.
Let's just say he's only worth $200 billion then instead of $300. He's still going to be okay. But you're not taking the money from him.
Right.
You're earning it from him. And that's the way I think it should be. And our government has screwed all the Americans over by letting all these jobs go overseas where they're paying them $1 a week. And I'm, obviously I'm $1 a week, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And everybody's accountable. Republicans, Democrats, all of them are accountable. They all let this happen. Trump is the only one trying to bring them back. Nobody until Trump has tried to bring the jobs back. I hope this works because I've been saying this since the 90s that we should, and I didn't call them tariffs. I called them, we should tax the stuff coming into our country so that we're on an equal playing field so that we can make it for the same amount here as we can over there and ship it in. I think we'll do just fine if that's the case. The problem is now these business owners are used to making a profit margin of whatever it is now instead of what it used to be. And they're going to fight this eventually. They're going to fight it. I guarantee you. But,
well, just so you know, there is a way for average Americans to make money like these guys because there's a stock app that you can get that will tell you all the stock trades that Nancy Pelosi and all these stock winners are doing. And if you follow the stock trades, you can make it rich just like them. Whenever they're investing, invest. Whenever they're selling, sell. You can be just as rich as Nancy Pelosi. And Dan Crenshaw was one of those guys that I saw that. I was like so frustrated. And it's like Dan Crenshaw is supposed to be a Republican Navy SEAL from Texas, and I'm just like he's made like over $60 million or something like that. I'm like, wait, what? Like,
yeah.
So you're doing the same thing Nancy Pelosi's doing? You have no reason to even be in my face right now.
They're all doing it. Well, not all of them. Most
they're
of them
not
are doing it.
Tulsi Gabbard didn't do it. Tulsi Gabbard didn't earn any more money than she was paid in Congress. She didn't come out
Yeah.
richer than she left. That's for sure.
Okay.
You know,
Like,
so there
like I said, there are some that
that are
don't.
doing it,
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just insane. So
And there again, if you get put in that position, you got to have some pretty strong morals to not go down that road. You know, because
That's what
everyone
our
else is
thought-
doing it. You know,
That's what our founding fathers said when they wrote the Constitution. This country is not meant to be governed by immoral men.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's and the reality is, you'd have to do something. I don't know, like maybe the president is doing, and just not take a salary. You know, work for free.
Yeah.
You know, and when we read through our Constitution, it's interesting because they didn't live in Washington D.C. They went there a couple of times a year to meet. They
Right.
didn't live there. Right?
Right.
Now they're all living there. They get elected. They get an apartment in D.C. They live
Paid
in
for.
D.C. Paid for in D.C. Everything. They get clothing, all this stuff, and it's like they have no clue what you and I think, what the average American thinks, because they
Yeah.
don't. They're stuck in the Washington D.C. bubble, and they're like,
Right.
"Oh, this is how it is. Everyone's making money off of stock trades, so I might as well get involved in stock trades and see what
Right.
happens. I'll become rich when I get out of here." You know, it's
Did you
just insane.
Did you guys by chance see that on Zillow? There was a report, and I checked it out myself, found it was true. After the election, how many homes went up for sale in the Washington D.C. Area? It would seem like every third house was up for sale because all the people were
Wow.
bailing out. I mean, it wasn't every third, it really was, but you know, you can look at Zillow and say, well, it has little red dots.
Yeah.
The whole thing was littered with red dots with all the people looking to sell and get out of DC, who were all, like he said, the lobbyists and the party, you know,
Yeah.
the party that just lost the war. It was all those people that were getting out.
Yeah.
Right.
I've said this for a while. They should make our capital somewhere in the middle of the country. Just move it. Just go there and start over. Start over.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, the only reason it is where it is today is because we had 13 colonies. It's
Right,
like we
exactly.
got to be somewhere where these 13 colonies
'Cause-
can get together and meet.
Because originally it was someplace else. It wasn't Washington. It was someplace else.
Philadelphia, maybe.
Yeah. It was either Philadelphia or New York, one of the two. But they moved it there because that was in the middle, I guess, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And they made like you said, they made its own DC, so District of Columbia. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now if I to see if I can pull it up on Zillow how many homes are for sale in Washington D.C. area.
Yeah, probably if there's that many homes for sale too, the probably price of the homes are going down too.
Yeah,
So,
correct.
I mean, you know, supply and
Well,
demand, you know.
If they did a middle of the country DC, it would be basically in the heartland of Kansas. Yeah. Right in the middle of Kansas.
Right.
Hey, you know how to share a screen, right, on this broadcast, right?
Yeah.
You should do that. I mean, I have it pulled up right now, but you should pull up Zillow.com, and then in the search area, just type in "for sale Washington D.C." and look at all the red pin dots and show that on your broadcast.
Is there a lot?
Oh my gosh, it looks like a bad case of acne is what it looks like. You know, there's so much red on there.
Wow,
You got to pull that, look it up and see if you.
Kind of discriminatory there, Mark. Red case of acne.
No, everybody gets acne, right? Acne is not color dependent. It's not a racial.
I don't know. You ask a Democrat, they might say that's racial. I'm just saying.
I can share this. Slides, PDF, section, camera, video file, image file. Share. I got 3 screens, so let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Share screen. What does it say? Use operating system. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, we're gonna allow opening system. Oh, I gotta open system settings and allow it to happen.
Zillow.com. Type in "for sale Washington D.C."
We're in Google Chrome, so I might have to change that.
I have it on mine, but I don't know that I can pull it up because you guys are the presenters. I'm not.
Yeah, it says I got to quit and reopen Firefox. I'm not going to do that.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can take a screenshot of it, though, and share that. So audio's echoing back into us there, Mark. That's all right. We'll let
Mine
you slide
is?
with this. Yeah, because you don't have any headsets on.
Oh, sorry.
You're
All right.
We're just giving you a hard time.
Because that's what Jeff does.
Yeah, that's what I do. So let's see if I can open this with. Let's open it with preview, and we will save it as. Revert to.
Didn't mean to derail the broadcast here.
No. Oh, here we go. Export. I should be able to export that as a PDF. That'd be good. Yeah.
You've done that before.
Yeah, that's what I did before. So we say.
I wish I knew how to do it because then I might try it, but I don't have any clue.
Yeah, that might take us all day. Walk you through
Yeah.
that. Just saying.
Yeah, you might.
All right, let's see if I can find it here. Let's see. We'll go here. We'll go to slides and PDFs. We're gonna do your computer. Oh, I could have done.
What are you looking at PDF slides for?
Well, that's what it wants to do is a PDF slide. That's what it shows.
Oh.
So here we go. All right, here we go. It's uploading. It's uploading.
It's uploaded.
On my screen, though, under the StreamYard.
There
you
you
go.
Oh,
That's
wow.
It's crooked, but that's the
That's
DC
fine.
image and Zillow of all the houses that are for sale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So,
There's a couple.
It does look like there's a little pock mark's going to be happening there. Small case of the zit face. Hey, zit face, you don't have any fries, do you?
Well, that
You don't have any
pisses me
burritos.
off.
That pisses me off.
Yeah, the old Saturday night. Remember Saturday Night Live? Lisa Lubner and Tom Pizza Face. She'd always call him Pizza Face. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's
Gilbert Radner.
the one that Rick's talking about. Was that a Saturday Night Live skit, Rick?
No, it was
It
was a
Charles
comedian.
Bronson. Somebody
It was a
imitating.
comedian. He was
Charles
imitating
Bronson.
Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Going
remember
into
who it was.
McDonald's.
Might have been
Like
George
a large
Carlin.
order of fries.
I think it was George Carlin.
Oh, was it like a Big
I think it
Mac,
was.
large order of fries? You don't have any burritos, do you? Well, that pisses me off. I was on the phone one day, Mark, with my brother. I was going through my favorite drive-through Chick-fil-A, and I was getting I ordered like a chicken breakfast burrito, right? And the lady says, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have any burritos." I'm like, "Well, that pisses me off." She's like, "What?" I'm like,
Yeah,
What?
she was too young to understand it.
Oh
He
my gosh,
explained
it
it to her
was
after the
classic.
fact. But
Yeah, it
yeah.
was classic. But yeah,
Lost on the Gen Z, huh?
yeah, exactly.
And I gotta say,
But
this,
we
Mark,
had fun. So.
every time I'm on the phone with him, he goes through the drive-through. That's all I can think of every time. That pisses me off.
You don't have any burritos, do you? Well, that pisses me off. Oh yeah. These are the
Oh.
things we talked about when we were younger, and we just can't get them out of our minds, Mark. And now you'll
I'll
have
tell you
stuff
what
in your mind.
I'll tell you what I can never get out of my mind whenever I see the two of
Oh,
you
here we
guys.
go. Here we go. Go ahead.
Here we go. When your mom thought it was raining when you're outside, when you were walking.
Oh, so maybe we should tell the whole story.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, you gotta
every-
tell the whole story.
Every
Go
time I
ahead.
see you guys,
So anyway, the whole story is this. So
Yeah.
we lived down by the river, and
In the cottage,
we had a
Kirkwood,
two-story
New York.
house. Jeff and I were in the upstairs bedrooms, and we just never felt like walking down.
We
to
had
go to
one
the bathroom.
bathroom in the house. You had to walk
Downstairs.
across
all the
living
way
room,
downstairs.
through
across
the living room, through
through
the
the
kitchen,
kitchen.
and then it
Yeah,
was, into
It
that.
took about an hour to get there,
It was
And,
uphill both ways. It was
In the
snowing
snow.
and wet and raining. Well, yeah, it didn't rain, but anyway.
So, anyways, we would just open the window and pee out the window, and we didn't even bother. There's a screen there. We pee through the
I
screen.
learned
didn't
it
matter.
from my brother. I'm just saying. I
Of
learned
course
what
he
I'm
did.
doing. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like
Anyways.
a great idea.
One day, my mom was out gardening, mowing, doing something, and
She was mowing the lawn on
Mow-
that side of the house because there was about an 8-foot piece of land in between the tree line of the
right.
neighbor's house and our house, which
And
has
all of a
nice-
sudden, it
nice green
started
grass.
raining on a sunny day. And I was in the window, and I'm like, "Oh crap! Oh gee!" And I might have got a little beaten on that one. That's all.
Mom's like,
which I
raining
might say I deserved. Okay, so.
Yeah,
oh,
that
gosh,
was,
that's funny.
those are the days. So
Yeah.
Yep.
yep, that was I like we've talked about this before, but that I really loved growing up there. My brother
Yes, you
not so
did.
much, but I loved it. I had so much fun. I was driving the tractor, mowing the lawn, driving in the river on another day. I had a lot of fun down there. Plowing the driveway with the Massey Ferguson. I had so much fun there. For me, it was like heaven. Um, just walk down the river and go fishing, go swimming. It was great. Your kids screaming around over there,
So
Mark, or what?
Oh yeah, the grandkids out there. You can hear them in the background, huh?
Oh yeah, I can hear
no,
Thursday. Wah!
so Kathy says back to the news.
Back to the news. Oh, hey, she's on the other channel now. Thanks, sweetie. I don't know how you
Yeah.
got there, but she probably joined Rick's Facebook feed. So
And Kathy says it was beautiful there. Yes, it was.
it was.
So
yeah.
speaking of news, there's a picture on the New York Post yesterday of Trump with a sword in his hand and a slicing thing. Did he really have a sword in his hand when he was talking about this? I didn't see it.
There was one time when he was on the stage. I thought Elon Musk was the one that had the sword, though.
No, Elon Musk had a chainsaw.
Then I think it might have been Donald Trump. He had a sword.
Oh, okay.
So, and people were like standing back, like, "Uh-oh, we don't know what he's gonna do with that,"
It
But-
says Trump proposes $163 billion cut of federal bloat, including chopping DEI and UN funding. And he has a sword in his hand. And I said, did he really have a sword in his hand? That would be funny, I think. But
well, there's another AI picture of Trump out there, which I thought was very funny. Where he's got the Pope hat on. He's sitting in the Pope's chair. I was like, you just can't make this stuff up. Somebody's gonna be pissed with that, no matter what you do. But it's like it's kind of funny, but yeah.
Yeah, he just needs to sometimes stay off of internet.
But I don't think he did it though. I don't think he did it. I think somebody else did it. So I don't know. I don't know who did it, but I was like, well, that's funny. So
yeah, let's see if it's on there. See if I can find it.
So speaking of Donald Trump, we were going to read. Let's throw a little news into the story tonight.
Yeah.
So on True Social, Donald Trump posted, "The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the USA are being devastated." And I know this for a fact because I have a very nice friend who owns a computer shop, Apple computer shop in Melrose, Hollywood area. And she said it's dead because she used to do a lot of support for the movie industry and the movie industry personnel. And she says it's dead. There's nobody making movies in LA. So he's basically right. So he says it's a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I'm authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representatives to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again.
There you go.
Wow, that's
and those are people who didn't vote for him too. By the way,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just he's so pro-American. It's like, wait a minute, why are we making movies in other countries? We have such beautiful land in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we going to these states in this country and making movies here?
Well, you don't even have to go out to California to find beautiful country. You got everything there. You got desert, you got green, you got mountains with snow on it. You got everything there.
It's really sad what our wonderful governor of California does. This guy's the biggest idiot that there is, in my opinion.
Well, you might have Cruella there pretty soon, so
I doubt
buckle up.
I really doubt it. I think that there's enough people in California to be like, no, we're not doing that. So
I think you're right too. And actually, there's somebody out there. There was a guy in the Post the other day who was talking about they think the Republicans might do well in the next election if the Democrats keep talking the way they're talking.
Yeah, because they're always going with the 20% of the 80-20 issues. They're always on the 20% side. It's like, keep going. I love it. I mean, I think it's sad, but you're just going to start losing your shorts until you start pulling your head somewhere and you grab your ears and pull hard till you're a pop. And then you'll be like, oh, wow, there's a world out here. Oh, we should actually start seeing what our constituents want to do.
Well, you can talk about in Maine, they're still letting the boys play on the girls' teams. And the one boy who won the pole vaulting the state championship. Less than a year ago, he was pole vaulting for the boys team. And he just said, I'm a girl, and they let him start playing on the girls team. That's it. All he did.
Yeah, if I'm correct, I think he had placed 9th in his the schools have their district or their conferences.
Division or
I think he
whatever,
placed 9th in the league, so he switched over, and now he's state champion of the girls.
Yeah.
I like this sign that I saw that said, "Weak men competing in girls' sports are celebrated by weak minds."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something else about to spit my water out. That's a good one. I like that's better. I'm just saying that'll keep us clean. So
I've actually posted that on Facebook before, actually, that exact thing. Yeah.
That's where I think, like you guys were talking about, let that party continue to do the stuff they're doing, because then all the Republicans have to do is say, if you're a person who favors a foreign criminals over our own people, then the Democrat Party is for you. If you favor all the work that women have fought for equal rights and pay and recognition within the workplace over the last 100 years, if you're in favor of that being taken away by men, then the Democratic Party is the party for you. So if you're in favor of all jobs being exported to other countries, so it decimates our own economy, then the Democratic Party is the party for you. Right. And there's so much fodder that they have to lean on. Let them play out, let them do their things. And I think where it helps to surface all this is a lot of the things that Trump does is deliberately to agitate them. I mean, I think
absolutely.
He deliberately agitate them, and you see how unhinged they become. Great. There's more fodder that we have for our next election cycle.
Yeah. It's like when he posted all those signs on the White House.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
Right in front of all the tents where the news media do their news. It's like they can't do anything but show it. They got to figure out how to block them out now.
Yeah, the MSNBC was trying to blurring out the faces out of it. Stuff like that. Like, you can't make this crap up, man.
It's great, and and that all that does is like what Mark says. It just draws them out, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we can't stand this. We got to do something about it." And they're like, "All right, good, thanks. Got more information." And the thing is, they don't even realize that's why they lost last year on November 5th. Is because all of the DEI and the women and the men and women's sports and all this stuff. And they're like doubling down on that. Well, we need to start talking about our agenda about getting these transgender, supporting these transgender men and blah blah blah. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
it's just
my son will even say he doesn't understand why that's a hill they're dying on. He can't get it. He doesn't get. Yeah. You're dying on a hill that's less than 1% of the population, basically.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, what was I going to say? I know you made me lose my train of thought, Jeff. You just kept talking. Maybe that's okay.
Okay, so here's a question. There's buzz already that presidential candidate for 2028 on the Democratic Party that might potential front runners would be Newsom, Kamala running again, AOC, or Bernie. Do you guys? What are your thoughts on any of those four?
I think none of them should run. Not a single one of them are.
I don't think any of them will run. To be honest with you, I think Kamala is going to start hearing writing on the wall because the Democrat supporters, the ones that are giving all the money, they're like, "Look, we gave you $2 billion last time and you lost. We're not going to give you another dime."
You don't know that though. They're just stupid like that, Jeff. Though they are.
I think. But
if she goes through and she's ahead of all of them like she is right now, they're stupid enough to give her money. They really are.
Well, but that's the thing, because if they have a primary election, right, then they will weed her out.
Well,
because
the thing is,
that's how she got weeded out last time. I made a stupid statement. Tulsi Gabbard nailed her on it, and she fell off.
Yeah,
just disappeared.
She cannot think on her feet. She really can't. She has no. If she can stick to a script, she does okay. And even then, she gets into word salad and crap. But if she has to make decisions on her feet in an instant, she is not good at all. I remember what I was going to say. The problem I don't like about Trump rising them up and having them, I got to go after him, is the immigration thing. Because they're fighting him so hard on immigration. I don't know if he can get all these illegal immigrants out of the country before his 4 years are up, with how much he's going to have to go through to get them through. And I'm hoping that eventually the Supreme Court comes in and says, no, he has the right to do all this, and they just get it done. But we'll see what happens.
Article 2 gives them the right to export them out.
But they're fighting it.
I know they are fighting, and the funny
So-
thing is like if you're so damned important about the Constitution and
They're not,
the
though.
rule of law, then what did you say for the last 4 years when this idiot was flying them in from all over the world into our country
Mhm.
illegally? I
Mhm.
didn't say a damn thing. You know, it's like
Mhm.
it's just so.
Well, here's the thing
frustrating.
too. I hear this all the time. Is about the immigration was slowing down at the end of Biden's term, so he's the one that started slowing it down. And I almost blow my head up when I hear that. It's like, you guys aren't paying attention. You really are. Yeah, there's two reasons why it slowed down. The first reason is because they started shipping them in on planes so they didn't count them at the border.
Right.
The second thing is once everybody knew Trump was going to get elected, they quit coming across.
Yeah, they knew.
Okay,
they
you
weren't
put those
gonna be
two things together, and that's why it slowed down. It's crazy how people
plus
think.
Trump was actually talking with the president of Mexico and saying, "Look, you need to do something before I get in office. You need to do something." And they actually started doing something to start slowing the flow of them down. And now they're basically stopping them from coming across their southern border, so they can't.
Yeah,
even get into
it's
the
almost
southern border
almost down
of
to
Mexico.
almost down to zero. Hey, my wife's on. Hello, sweetheart. How you doing?
Hello, Dulcie. Good evening.
Mhm.
Good evening.
Hey, Rick. So,
Yeah.
you may not get the millions out by the time of the next presidential election, but what could have an impact is voter reform from a federal level,
Yes,
which
they
would
need to do that.
require identification.
Right.
And I already forgot the second one. Oh, cleaning up the voter rolls.
Yes.
If there's something that can be done where at least there's incentives from the federal government to clean up the voter rolls and require identification, which will be tough because the voting is sent to the states to determine, right? So the states are the ones that control that. But if something can be done to clean up the voter rolls and require some sort of identification, I think it'd be a long, long time before we see a Democrat getting back elected into the White House.
Well, I also think that our government needs to look at the immigration policies, and so that we can allow more legal immigrants to come into this country, so we can vet them all, but we can get more in here, and this way we don't have people sneaking across the border who are going to try to blow up the Empire State Building or whatever, and or stuff like that.
What was the gold card that President Trump implemented?
$6 million, I think it was, wasn't it?
Is that what it
I
was?
thought
$5 million.
$5 million, okay.
$5 million to get a gold card to get in, and you have to have a promise of investing in the country or something like that. I forgot what the rules.
What's that Canadian guy? He's always on Fox News. He's a rich guy. He does the Shark Tank.
Oh, that's what he is, right, Mark? The Shark Tank guy, the
Canadian guy.
You're not talking about Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful, yeah.
He's Canadian? I didn't know he was Canadian.
Yeah.
He actually has 2 or 3 nationalities, but United States is not one of them. But he always gets a business visa, and he's always here. And they were talking to him. You should get the $6 million thing. He goes, no, I'm good. He's I'm good. I come in here. I get my business visa. I'm here all the time. I never, whatever.
And that's the thing. It used to be that there were green card visas for the people that wanted to come across the border to pick our crops or do whatever it was. And I'm not saying we need these people to pick our crops like the Democrats say, which I
not like the Democrats.
Yeah. We need these people to pick our crops. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do you understand that you're the same people that wanted slaves back in the
they're the same people that are calling the Republicans racist.
Yeah.
Okay, just saying.
Let me add this is because of that argument. So you guys know, whoever might be watching later on, I used to live in California. Now we live up in Idaho. And here's what we observed when we came up here. Do you know who's working in the agricultural fields, which is huge agriculture up here in Idaho, right? You know who's working in the fields? The white people. Do you know who's working construction? The white people. Do you know who the housekeepers are in hotels and motels? The white people. Do you know who the landscapers and the gardeners are? White people. Yeah. So don't tell me that nobody's going to do those jobs.
Right.
People will do those jobs. I think it's a core argument. And what you said, Rick, if we always need legal immigration because what happens is that when somebody goes through the legal process, they tend to be stronger, more patriotic Americans than natural born Americans are. Right. And I'll tell you, I've talked to a lot of legal immigrants who came from different countries and went through the process and got their citizenships. And those people are the ones that are most upset about the illegal immigration process.
Right.
They went the legal route, and they understand and they value what it means to be an American and the opportunities there. They don't come here looking for the handout. They come here looking for the opportunity, which is exactly what we have.
Right. And it used to be, that you had to learn to speak English. And I don't know if it's that way still, but I remember Trump saying that's going to be part of it in the future. You have to make an attempt to learn to speak our language.
Yeah. They don't. That's the thing. We write manuals for all these people in 14,000 different languages, so they can read it in their own language.
Well, in California, they have classes taught in foreign language in California. So
but I mean, so Jeffrey and Jessica, our kids, both went through what was called the Spanish immersion classes. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned their names. I'll cut it out later. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. I love our kids. They're good. But they went through Spanish immersion from kindergarten through 12th grade. They spoke Spanish, right? So like when we put our son in kindergarten for the Spanish immersion class, we couldn't talk to the teacher in English. So I never talked to the teacher, not with the kids around, because I don't know Spanish. My wife, very fluent in Spanish, so she would talk to the teacher in Spanish, and all the other parents would talk to the teacher in Spanish. So the kids knew that, well, our kids were thinking, well, these guys only know Spanish, right? They learned Spanish really well, and they both graduated with a degree from Spain and from the U.S., right? So I'm very proud of our kids. They did a really good job. They stuck it out. They made it work. So they're both very fluent in Spanish, right? And but it's like it was one of the things, because my wife speaks Spanish. It's like it's valuable for you to learn a second language. I tried really hard. I can't do it.
I'm actually going to try to do it.
I would love to try to do it again, but I tried like 4 times. I passed one.
Wait a minute. Wait. Today's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
4th.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah,
that's right.
There you go.
Hey, speaking of proud of your children, I got a story to tell. Dulcie and I's son came down to visit me a few weeks ago, and he's a movie guy. I'm a movie guy. Dulcie doesn't like movies, so we're going to movies. We're watching movies on TV all the time, and we were watching Midway, and so the Midway's on, and there's parts where the Japanese are talking back and forth to each other, and there's no subtitles. And I'm going, and this goes on, like it goes back, it comes back, and finally I'm like, why aren't there subtitles so I can understand what they're saying? I don't get it. And Brad, our son, says to me, "Oh, the Navy is arguing with the Army about how the war is going." I go, "You understand that?" He goes, "Yeah." So we go back, we find it, and we put subtitles on. Sure enough, he knew exactly what they. He took Japanese when he was in high school, and he remembers it all. I'm like, holy cow!
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I used to think that I didn't like Jeff's kids because they're blonde hair, blue eyes, and speak better than me and Mr. Martinez. But then I realized it's not them I disliked, it was me that I disliked for not being able to speak.
We've given you such a hard time over the years, Mark, for your lack of ability to speak Spanish. But
well, your name is Martinez, right?
Yeah. And Martinez. I can't speak Spanish. I don't like refried beans. I have no idea what part of Mexico my family comes from. I'm like a total disgrace to my people.
But one of the things I love about Mark is we like in our Saturday morning Bible study, we used to give Mark a hard time, and he literally, it would be like water off a duck's back. He never held it against us. He'd always laugh and joke about it. It was always like jovial, and it was like, wow, this is kind of amazing. I really, and it wasn't like we were like really derogatory, but we would talk to him about stuff like, you'd be like, oh, here we go again, that type of thing. But he never was like, you guys need to knock it off, because he's just like, yeah, you're right. I'm a Hispanic guy that doesn't know Spanish, and I don't eat refried beans. What do you do? It's like, what do you do? So I've always liked that about you, Mark. I really have, and it's always been encouraging, to watch you and when you do it. And I've seen you do that in a lot of different instances, not just in our Bible study too, but we're just like, oh, all right, whatever, just moving on, So And that's
Kind of
a good
like you,
trick
Jeff,
down.
when you're driving down the road and someone cut you off. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, well, nah.
that's-
That's not the Jeff I know. No way.
I have embarrassed myself for that.
I might have
sometimes.
air quoted that, Mark.
Yeah,
I'm just
you
saying.
did. You definitely did. So, yeah, there was one time when we were living at the apartment complex we were living in before we're living where we're living now. We live in a condo complex. It's a lot better complex, but so they had two roads, one in and one out, and they were doing some construction on it. So they had the out lane blocked, so traffic had to go both ways on the in lane, right? So I'm going down the in lane. I'm talking on the phone to a customer, and this guy comes screaming around the corner and almost head-ons me. And I just did the normal Jeff Bennett response. And that's all I'm going to say about
Double
that.
Johnny Cash.
Oh, it was just, my mouth was as dirty as a gutter in that moment. And then I realized, oh, I'm on the phone with a customer. Hang on, excuse me, hold on. He's like, what? I'm like, never mind. All right, so I'm not, I don't do very well in driving. As I tell my brother all the time, my brother and I are probably the best drivers on the road, and all the other people suck.
Everybody else sucks but us.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's funny. One of the things I often mention when people come and visit up here is that where we live. I mean, in this area, people are always waving to each other, total strangers walking by, and people talk to each other, that kind of stuff. And I oftentimes say to people when that are visiting, I said, one thing you'll notice about Idaho is that when we wave to people, we use all 5 fingers.
Exactly. All 5. Hey,
All 5.
All 5. Not just the one.
There's no Johnny Cash appearances there. So yeah, that's funny. Holy mackerel, man, this is awesome. Yeah, so I think the only other thing we're going to talk about was let's see. Oh, there was something. Let's see if I can find it. Was it? Oh yeah, it was basic. Oh, my brother and I were talking about. We don't need to rehash that. Never mind. We'll move on. Anyway,
Okay. All right.
yeah. So we talked about the Elon Musk. We talked about the 100 days. I mean.
You know what?
Go ahead.
I got sent a thing today. The congressmen in there arguing that they had put $800 million away for bonuses for the Doge team. And it was someone was talking about, then Jamie Raskin kept coming in there going back and forth about, oh yeah, it did. And what's the average bonus for a normal American? About $2,500, and these guys are going to get $40,000 a piece. So Jeff and I did a little research on this, and what we found out that it's fake news, and these guys are in Congress talking about it.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And that's what they do. They just lie. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Wayne Thayer's on.
Hello, Wayne. How you doing?
Just noticed him. I don't know how long he's been on. I don't know how long you've been on, Wayne, but welcome. Yeah. So I wasn't going to bring that up, but we looked it up. So I looked up on both ChatGPT and Grok AI, and basically there's like nothing. There's no information. It didn't happen. It's false information. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So,
I think
unverifiable rumor was one of the things they said, and
Go ahead, Mark.
I think of that time when Jesus called out the Pharisees and he says, "You are the father of the devil, who is a liar. He's the father of all lies. There is no truth in him." It's just like,
right.
How many times do we see stuff like that? And I don't know.
Well, I was telling
Jeff, an appropriate statement for a recorded podcast. Maybe it'll come back to haunt me. I don't know.
Well, because I know Adam Schiff lies all the time. That was my first thing. Yeah, I think it was Shifty Schiff, and then I went back and looked at it. It wasn't. It was Raskin. But I know Schiff. Adam Schiff is lying. His mouth is moving.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I will be very happy when we see the day, and I think it might be coming. I'm just saying it might be coming when we see the day where the Navy SEALs and the FBI and the Secret Service and all these people go into these people's houses and they raid their houses at 5 o'clock in the morning and perp walk them out with handcuffs on. Like Adam Schiff and maybe
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
And all these people.
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
They just did it to a judge, and where was that? What state was that?
Yeah, but the judge was blatantly just escorted a legal migrant out so he couldn't get caught by ICE. It was, yeah.
How insane can you be, right? So
Yeah.
you have Trump derangement syndrome so bad that you're gonna go out, you're gonna come off your chair of the bench in a live court and walk out and open the door and start screaming at DEA agents and telling them, go talk to the Chief Justice in this court. You guys
Right.
are out of here. And oh, by the way, they did go talk to the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice said, yes, you have a right to go down there and arrest that boy as soon as he comes out of the court. And when she went back in after a little tirade, she took that guy who was in court being prosecuted for beating up his a girl and a guy. He had like physically beat them, right? And she escorted him and his lawyer into her chambers and out the back door so that the ICE agents could arrest him. And the trial wasn't even done. It wasn't like she's like, I'm out. We're taking him out. We're taking you out. It's like, what an asinine way to try to handle your Trump derangement syndrome.
In case anybody's listening, her name is Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan. Hannah Dugan, in case anybody wants to send her a message or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, here's an interesting point about that is when the TDS is so severe, TDS, Trump derangement syndrome,
right,
that you're willing to put your entire career and your entire reputation and the livelihood of your family and the character of your friends and everybody knows you on the line to sacrifice it for one person because you're so doing. That is the stuff that when you realize this is cultish thinking.
Right. Yeah.
This is religious cultish thinking that you can't even think rationally because you're going to follow along a march step in line with what you're being told to by your leaders as opposed to being able to think for yourself.
And this is just common sense. This guy's a bad guy and he's here illegally. What is the problem with getting rid of this guy? You know, I don't get it. I really even TDS doesn't explain this to me. It really doesn't. I mean,
it's like all the attacks and fire bombings of Tesla and the Tesla, dealerships and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I heard this one guy was arrested and charged, right? Probably gonna do 20 years in prison, and his lawyer is arguing with the DA and saying, look, he's in the middle of a sex change process. If you put him in prison, he's not going to be able to continue with his treatment.
No, he get for free.
My thought is, you know what? Who cares?
Right.
You broke the freaking law. You just like my brother said. You are so deranged that you're going to put your whole life, or Mark was saying, you're going to put your whole life and your whole family out of the picture because you're just going to do something stupid and asinine like key a car or firebomb a dealership or firebomb a car or whatever. And it's like, how many times do you have to be told that these Teslas have cameras on them to say, oh, they're not going to catch me keying the car when I walk by?
Well, that one guy, I think it was in Las Vegas, keyed 2 cars, was camera doing both of them, did like $20,000 worth damage. That judge let him go. Didn't even charge him.
I know.
Or the district attorney, it might have been. District attorney let him go. Didn't even charge him.
The deterrent to crime is accountability. When you're accountable for and responsible for your actions, that's a deterrent to crime. And we've seen for too long in our country, as you know, there's no accountability because these things are allowed to go uncharged, and you start putting people in jail, you fine them or whatever it might be. That's going to be a deterrent. I don't know if you knew this, but my daughter, when we lived in California, used to work for Dick's Sporting Goods, a retailer, and that was when California had this thing at $940. You can steal anything, you won't even be charged or anything else.
Yeah.
The staff was trained that when somebody comes in to steal stuff, do not approach them, do not talk to them, do not create anything that could cause a disruption or anything else. And so they would people would go in, they'd pick off all these things off the shelf. They knew exactly how much it cost, and they'd walk right out the front door, sometimes even looking or smiling or waving at the cashiers, knowing that nothing was ever going to happen to them.
Right.
Well, the funny thing is when my daughter told me that, I said, I want to get a black t-shirt with big white block letters that say security and just stand out in the front of the door. And she, no, you can't do that. I'll get fired. I'm like, come on, I'm not hired. I'm just saying I want to do that. She said, no, you can't do that. So one time I was in there visiting with her, and this lady walks in, and my daughter says, "See that lady over there?" She said, "Yeah, she's one of the ones that does it." Oh, really? Okay. So, so
Good
she, this
story.
lady's, so this lady's like in this section over there, like a softball gear or something. And I walk up, near her. Hey, do you know anything about softball? I've been thinking my daughter is thinking about playing, and I'm just wondering if you have any advice. No, I don't. She huffs off. She goes to some other area. I follow her. Hey, do you know anything about tennis? Because tennis, everywhere she went, I was just striking up a conversation with her. Finally, she went to the manager. She said, "There is a man that is harassing me in the store. You need to do something about this." And she huffs out without anything in her hands. That is the solution right there.
Well, when I worked at Tractor Supply, they told us that when a customer comes in and they're looking at, you walk up and say, "Hey, can I help you?"
Mm-hmm.
And that will many times keep them from trying to steal stuff just because they know someone's there to pay attention.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And
And if you tackle their ass on the ground, then they're definitely not.
they don't allow you to do that anymore. No, they don't allow you to do that anymore.
I'm waiting for the day where some of these people who deface with spray paint, that a citizen like you or me or somebody else would run up to them, grab the spray can out of their hands, and spray paint their whole face and everything else.
Yeah,
Just
you got to rip
them.
their mask down and spray it right into their face.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
now everyone knows that you're the guy that's spraying the red paint around here because your face is covered with your own paint.
So, back in the 60s and 70s, the crime in New York City was huge. And in the 80s, I can't remember
Giuliani.
I can't remember the police commissioner's name, but he came up with this plan for broken windows. If you break a window, we're arresting you. Because if we're arresting you for breaking a window, if you do this, we're going to arrest you for that too. And crime just plummeted down once they started that. And like you said, accountability, that's what it is. If there's no accountability, people are going to keep doing it. It's human nature. I can walk, and like you said, they're probably walking in there adding stuff up in their mind to make sure they don't go over to $900 whatever it is. Okay, that puts me over. I gotta go.
Well,
put something back on the shelf.
California just passed a law just this last voting term that said they're abolishing that minimum requirement. So basically, if you're stealing, you're going to get arrested.
I heard that, but I don't believe it. What's Kathy saying? Kathy said, wasn't there a California store to up all prices to $1,000? But there's a coupon, so if you bought the item at the register, it'd be $1,000 off. Oh, I don't know, but that's a great idea. I love it.
It's true.
Your orange juice is $1,004.90. But if you have a coupon, you get it for $4.90.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was true. You're absolutely right, Kathy. They did that, and it's a huge drop in crime.
Yeah. And
everything's $1,000.
That's really all it takes. It's just common sense. That's the thing, and that's one of the things I like about the whole thing that Trump is doing. He's really on the common sense side. So he's always on the 80% side. So there's always this 80-20 issue, and Trump's always on the 80% side, and inevitably the Democrats are always on the 20% side. Well, I'm like, you guys are getting your ass beat day in and day out, and you're still stuck with the 20%. It's like because Trump likes the other side.
I keep saying this. I hope someday Trump doesn't say he loves coffee, because then I won't be able to buy coffee because they'll skyrocket the price, so I can't afford it.
And the other thing is, we all know that they've gotten away with it for so long because, of course, the mainstream media covered for them. Yeah. Well, now that the mainstream media is being called out, it's even in the White House press room.
Right.
When they're being called out and for the stupid stuff they're saying or doing, or how they're trying to twist something, then we have an opportunity to say, okay, here's the truth behind what they're really trying to propagandize us.
Yeah. And plus people are understanding now, because there's all kinds of places where you hear how they're doing on social media. You hear how, well, this is wrong, this is false. And now they don't even trust the legacy media anymore. Right. So they don't listen to it. There's not a lot of people listen to it to begin with, but you can get your news from other places now. You don't have to listen to the legacy media anymore. And
and Twitter was a huge change when Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
That was a monumental change to the social media network.
Yeah.
And remember what happened right before that is President Biden had established this I would
Fact
call it
checkers.
Department of Commerce of Disinformation. Remember that?
Disinformation. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're going, oh, well, that's not true. Imagine if all of our media outlets were shut down because, oh, that was disinformation. We're shutting you down.
Yeah.
And by disinformation, he meant something I don't agree with.
Yeah, I don't. You can't talk negative about that. You can't say that the COVID shots are bad. You know that don't.
I mean,
work
you
or
look
anything
at you
like
look
that,
at Joe Rogan. What happened to him? And he fought it, and he won, and now he's the most popular podcaster in the world.
Yeah.
And because of what they put him through, they made him, and he used to be a lefty.
Yeah.
And now he's middle road. I love Joe Rogan because he'll call out both sides. He does.
Yeah.
It's really good.
You know, another guy go ahead.
I'd say a very dear family friend who I grew up with, and I love this guy to death, but he's very, very leftist and stuff. So he had posted this screenshot that said that along how Trump has unpopular issues, and it showed like 42% of people agree, 59% of people disagree in this poll with what Trump is doing. And on the screenshot that was posted, it showed who the poll was done. The poll was done by PBS and NPR, the people that he's pulling the money away from. So they go, oh, we're pulling money away from this group of people. Well, how do you feel about the job he's doing?
Probably did it in California and New York too. So.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong with that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been at a little over an hour. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. So we want.
That was a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show. Thank you, Mark, for joining us. We want to thank everyone else that came here. We want to say God bless America. God bless our troops. God bless the police officers and firefighters and first responders. We really appreciate you. We will back you any day. All three of us here, I'm very confident if you ever needed a moment away, would open our house to you and let you in and let you have a break. So we thank you all. We say God bless you to everyone, and God bless everyone that came and watched the show and everyone that watches the show after this. So God bless.
Thank you, Mark. It was a great show. I'd love to have you on. It was great. And everything my brother said, we love our police officers, our military, everybody, and God bless everybody. Thank you for coming.
All
Hey, can we have Cheap Trick take us out?
You got it.
Cheap Trick is going to take us out.
Keep you content 3 times.
Good night now, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.